Hi, Founder fans. Jason here. Welcome to Friday Night Trivia, American Revolution style. Second behind, that's okay. Hope you're ready for a fun time. If you're new here, we do American Revolution all week long. Different founder every morning, different yada yada most days of the week, and trivia here on Fridays. As we're signing in, if you're here and ready to play, let me know you're here. Unfortunately, hey, everyone sign in, let me know you're here. I'm a little out of breath, got a little bit behind. We had some turkeys in our yard today, which was very exciting and set us back a second. So we're all ready for trivia. I got here just in time. Had to run down to the bathroom real quick before we started, but here I am. Thank you for coming. Again, let me know you're here in the comments so that I can know who to wait for as we're playing, as the questions arrive, and they will arrive. I mean, starting now. Let's go see what's up. Let's go take a look at some of these questions. So we are, nope. Where am I here? What question is that? Get out. That's not the question. It will be. Oh, it will be. I moved myself over here. So let's start here. Can the city of Chicago devise bankruptcy laws that apply only to its own residents? Now, I should note we are starting with these Constitution question cards. Most of the questions are very specifically American Revolution. A handful of them are not. Hey, 519. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. These first cards are Constitution specific. I am going to fix my camera real quick because I'm off to the side here, and we do not want that. But I will say, I did buy these Constitution cards at the museum next to Independence Hall in Philadelphia. So we are asking them, even though they might bounce a little bit outside the American Revolution itself. I'm going to put, there I am. Well, that seems a lot better now, doesn't it? All right, great. Thank you for your patience, guys. It's going to happen sometimes when you go live. It's just going to happen. 519. Any guess? False. We've got a false. And since you're the only one playing so far, people usually roll in a little bit slowly. That's why I'm kind of getting these Constitution ones out of the way. Let's take a peek and see if you're right. No, well, false would also be the same answer. So good, 519, nailed it. No. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution authorizes Congress to create, quote, uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcy throughout the United States. Such laws, therefore, must be uniform and cannot be modified by states and municipalities. Awesome. Well, thank you for playing 519. Welcome to the team. I assure you, a few people will catch up. There's a lot more people playing every night, every Friday over the winter time. But now that it's summertime fun time, people are out and about, and that's fine. I assure you, people will join us. If this is your first time here, we've got a few fun things coming up, especially our big whammy at the end, which I'm sure people will arrive for. Next question. Again, another one of these Constitution cards. Doing two of them today, getting them over with. How many senators run in each congressional election? Anyone just popping in, let me know you're here so I can wait for your answers. Again, doing Constitution specific cards, and this is a math one. Welcome to the American Revolution, where we do math. I'm gonna sip a little bit of my coffee. It's Friday night. I can have a coffee Friday because my responsibilities in the morning are fairly limited, and it's been sitting next to me for about an hour, so it's not hot like I anticipated. It is not cold, lukewarm. That should be a trivia question. Is my coffee hot today? No, the answer is no. It's cool. Anyone just popping in? People moving slowly? Let me know you're here. Let me know if you know how many senators run in each congressional election. This is now, right now, as in 2021, I suppose it is, and not during the American Revolution. This is a Constitution-specific question, not an American Revolution question at large, but we've got a lot of American Revolution on the horizon. I am kind of stalling right now, waiting for one of you to answer. Usually someone's answering. I see 519. You're thinking about it. It's okay to get it wrong, although you may very well be calculating. Haven't reached any of this week's videos. Well, that's okay. This one was not specific to this week. One of the questions later on is going to be specific to one of the earlier videos from a few weeks back, but I'm waiting. I see people popping in, waiting for the right answer. Okay, Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Welcome to the team. Sip my coffee. You're right about 1/3. How many senators are there right now, and can you divide that by 3? I've stalled enough for the people who aren't playing. We're going to go with no, you can't divide that by 3. That would be 33.333 people. but 33, sometimes 34, because it is in sections. You don't elect all the senators at once, and there are 100 senators, 2 from each state. Divided by 3 because they elect every 2 years. There's a senatorial election, and senators hold their position for 3 years. Therefore, most times it's 33, but every third year we got to throw one extra person in there to make the numbers work. So, we are now going to bounce over here. Catherine, 519, it seems like it might just be you two. You know what? We're going to do one more question before we go on. See if any more people, there's a bunch of people watching but not participating, but if anyone else wants to let us know they're here to help us with our Sporcle trivia game, then that would be great. But we'll move over here. We are going to this card from one of these little kids board games I have. This is about the Treaty of Paris. The next 6 questions will be about the Treaty of Paris. So, question number the first, and there are 2 types of questions. The next 3 will be student, and the 3 after that will be scholar, meaning harder. So the first question, as you see in front of you, the peace agreement was named the Treaty of Paris because Paris was the capital of Britain, where the treaty took place. Let me know. Here we go. Politicking. This is a tricky question. It is quite tricky, quite literally a trick question. Yeah, Catherine, it is supposed to say Britain. Wink. Yeah. So therefore, yeah, not my favorite question, but again, this is the easiest one on this particular card. This card has 6 questions on it. This is the easiest one for a child. So that's why it seems like I made a spelling error. And you're right. You're both right. Absolutely. It is false. Incorrecto. It is not true. It is named the Treaty of Paris because Paris was the capital of France, and it took place in Paris, France. It's actually the second Treaty of Paris. The French and Indian War, which Europe called the 7 Years' War, also had a Treaty of Paris just a decade or so, almost 20 years earlier. Well, no, 1762 to 83. So yeah, 20 years. I made it. Math. We're doing a lot of math this week. Founder of the day. We're going to do one more question before we go to the big board kind of game. According to the Treaty of Paris, what river marked the western boundary of the United States? According to the Treaty of Paris, as they say in England, I imagine. Because they all speak French in England, right? Putting that coffee down. Sorry, you can hear me drinking. I know, not appealing. But trivia is fun time, and we are having fun. And we're going to have fun. For those of you who don't attend trivia, or do attend trivia but don't attend anything else, I do my live weekly wrap-up on Thursdays, and next Thursday I think you're going to want to come to. I'm wrapping up the articles/videos I put out every single morning, which many people watch the live videos, don't get my pre-recorded videos alerted to them, so you might want to check that out because I put out a brief, about 5 to 7 minute video every single morning about a different American founder, which if you find this interesting, you might find that interesting. And then my weekly wrap-up will make more sense because those are the people I'm wrapping up. And I see you guys, both of the 2 of you playing are absolutely right. It is the Mississippi River. I just put Mississippi to make it easier to fit on the screen. I almost put the Mississippi, but I didn't want to take it too many liberties. Let's see. Let's do one more, see if anyone pops in. There are people watching who aren't playing. We'd love for you guys to join in, but I'm sure a few more of our regulars will pop in a second. So let's do one more question, and then we'll go over to that other romping good time on the other side. It's another true or false question, as you can see. The Treaty of Paris required the colonies to form one country. I put the question mark. That's supposed to be a period. I could have just taken out true and false and said, did the Treaty of Paris require the colonies to form one country? So true or false? I'll make it a statement. It will bother me. Okay, there we go. Now I'm good at this. Treaty of Paris required the colonies to form one country. Make what you will with that query. Okay, we got a true. 519 coming at us with true. Waiting on you, Catherine, trying to buy you some time. Buying you time while you think nice and hard about it. I'm buying it. I'm buying it. And time's up. False. The Treaty of Paris said nothing about the states forming one country. In fact, they kind of assumed most people would have assumed the states didn't form one country. At the time, the different colonies or states looked at themselves as separate nations. As we said in the weekly wrap up yesterday, and I did the live video last Sunday about the Declaration of Independence. In the Declaration, they literally refer to Great Britain as the state of Great Britain, which indicates that when they use the word states, much like the word state has been used throughout the English-speaking modern history, different countries. And it was kind of assumed that's how it would be, but there would be the continental, the Articles of Confederation would hold them together as a firm league of friendship. But then a few enterprising hands or conniving hands, depending on which side of the argument you fell on, came up with the United States Constitution and did combine them into one federated nation. So, sorry, not sorry. We don't lose anything here. We're just here to learn. So we're all winning. Let's go on. That was question number, I'll leave this up to indicate it to me. Seems like just the three of us today, at least at this point. So let's pop on over to the interweb, where we are going to have the wrong thing popped up for us. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Whoopsies. All right. Well, I was double checking one of the later answers before I started this, and well, don't look at that. Hint, one of the later answers you just saw. Okay, I figured this quiz I thought would be a lot of fun. It's basically, we're looking for a bunch of big wigs from the Revolution, especially people involved in the Continental Congress from July 4th, 1776, should say July 2nd, to all the way through 1789. People involved with the Second Continental Congress. As we can see, all right, well, 519, thank you for hanging out. I do it at this hour so that everyone can jump in. Catherine, hopefully you're still here because no one will answer, which would be kind of a bummer. But this game is, as you can see next to me, we don't need all 13 presidents of the Congress. It'll show up if we name one president of Congress, one secretary, one of each of these separate categories. I apologize what the names are. So I will bring it up. We have 5 minutes. I'm going to let it run for a minute. And Catherine, if I don't hear from you or anyone else, I might just play myself. So here we go. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait until 1 minute goes by before I start naming things for everyone. I see there are 4 people watching. None of you want to... Oh, there it is, Catherine. Hi. Hancock. Yes, Hancock was a president, if I can spell it correctly, of the... Ooh, wow, that got big real quick. He was also a member of Boston Sons of Liberty. We're looking for an author of the Declaration of Independence, Catherine. You might know who wrote the Declaration of Independence. We are also looking for a Secretary of Congress, a name I bring up here quite often. Secretary of Foreign Affairs, that's interesting. Superintendent of Finance, one of those giant names. There it is, Catherine. Absolutely, Jefferson. I'll tell you what, if when we get down to 3 minutes, it just seems to be you right now, Catherine, which is a little unusual. If we get down to 2.5 minutes, I'll start popping in some answers for you. We're looking for a Postmaster General, Secretary of Marine, Secretary at War. I think that's wrong. Livingston is always a good guess. Yes, Livingston came down as one of the ambassadors. Where I'm not sure where he... Oh, no, Jefferson popped up as one of the ambassadors. Livingston was, a Secretary of Foreign Affairs. That's right. He did take over with John Jay, I was thinking of. Franklin's name's got to be on here somewhere, right? Franklin. There it is. He counts the Postmaster General. Ebenezer Hazard is the one that usually comes to my mind, but we will go with Benjamin Franklin. Absolutely, a long time. Postmaster General. We are also looking for... okay, so Secretary, this name is going to be the same as Secretary of Finance. It's one of those big names we always have. There are several men with the same last name, if that's a hint. Family from New York, plus this guy, not from New York, same last name. Secretary of Congress, that's a name I bring up pretty frequently. He was there the whole romping good time. principal author of the Articles of Confederation. We've discussed that a good amount. That's right, Catherine Morris. And Nick, hey Nick, thank you for showing up. It was just Catherine rocking there for a second. Morris is absolutely correct. Now we need a Secretary of Congress. There it is, Robert Morris, Secretary of Finance, also a Secretary of the Marine. As I said, called it. We're looking for a Secretary at War. This was a big, Washington, probably a right answer somewhere, isn't it? If I spell the whole name, there it is. There it is. We'll take Secretary at War. Yes, Knox, absolutely. Knox is the Secretary at War. Great answer. Dickinson, absolutely, is a huge name and a principal author of that particular document. Secretary of Congress, a name I bring up kind of frequently. He would later try and be a Secretary of State when they didn't know if there'd be one or two. We also want a war commander from the a naval commander of the Revolutionary War. Name me the father of the Navy. Thompson, that's it. Thompson, you're on the right track, Nick, with Thomas. It was Tom's son. No P, so very close. Literally 2 letters off. A naval commander. Who's the father of the American Navy? I assume is one of the answers here, although there are a few correct answers. And federal court appeals judge. That is interesting. So, the Federal Court of Appeals under the Continental Associated, yes, John Paul Jones. That's got to be the right answer. There it is. Okay, so we need a Federal Court of Appeals judge. Now, when the Articles of Confederation were ratified, the only national thing they actually did was create this Federal Court of Appeals. Specifically, it dealt with maritime issues because what state is going to resolve a court case that happened on the open seas? How do you determine that? And all the states actually kind of came together and said, okay, we'll let Congress be in charge of that. There were 5 people who sat on this board throughout the 1780s. Most of the names escape me. I have a few good guesses, but they are probably guesses. I'm going to look up here and say, I think this name might be fun. I don't know. Can you see? Yes, you can see it. That might be a name you try if you guys can see what I'm highlighting. I just throw out some names. This is a tough one. Titus Blank from Connecticut, I think, is one. I don't know if you guys remember that name. Anyone pop it in? Let us know you're here playing. We're going to go to other trivia right after this time runs out in 17 seconds. You know, Jay is a good guess, but I don't believe so. No, he was doing Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Pack is... Wow. Wow, Catherine. Wow. Wowie, wow, wow, wow. Can you see it above my head there? Scroll down a little bit. I went too far. I just want to point out, William Paca, wow. Great guess, Catherine. I do want to note, I did Titus Hosmer. I said Titus H, right? I am very, 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 very proud of myself for that. But you'll also notice that Cyrus Griffin, George Reed, and John Lowell both held it almost the entire time. All the 1780s. 2 of them, Cyrus Griffin from the very beginning, and then Reed and Lowell from 1782 to 88. The entire existence of the Continental Association. These were the only federal judges, really kind of the only federal employees at all during the time. So let's pop back up here. I'll pop me up. I am very proud of you guys. You read about Paca recently? Well, good memory, Catherine, because that's really intense that you were able to pull one up. I was wrong about my guesses on the page, but I was right about Titus Hosmer. It's really the only thing he's known for, and he only did it for like a few months. Let's bounce over here. That is our last question from previously questioning. We're going to go to question number 6 over here. Again, still focusing on the Treaty of Paris card. So after the war, this is where they get hard, according to the card. After the war, what country took possession of Florida? And for those of you who are watching but not playing, thank you for watching. I do really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you're learning a little something. If you do have the time to hit like, that would be the most fantastic thing in the whole world. Trivia isn't for everyone. For whatever reason, trivia seems to be shown to the most random people who pop in, don't love what's happening, and then leave and don't watch any of the other stuff, which is more informative. Shame for them. 7 Years' War or Red War? After after the Revolutionary War, because this card is about the Treaty of Paris. Oh, they're both the Treaty of Paris. No, it's the American Revolutionary Wars concluding Treaty of Paris, according to the questions here that we're discussing. So, Colonel, welcome. Misfit, there you are. You just missed one fun quiz, but that's all right. We got lots more fun questions coming up. After the war, what country took possession of Florida? Catherine, I'm waiting on you. You asked a question about it. I'm assuming you're going to put one in or you're not. And the answer is, there it is, Catherine, Spain. Whammy. Colonel coming in, Misfit coming in with the right answer out of the blue. It would make sense that that Britain had Spain, because Britain had Spain leading up to the Britain had possession of Florida at the time, 2 colonies, East and West Florida, leading up to the Revolutionary War. And in fact, the Continental Congress tried to invite all the British colonies, including the Canadas and the Floridas, to the Continental Congress. Florida was barely populated at all, though, and had been Spanish territory, which references Catherine's question. Had been Spanish territory before the 7 Years' War, and then Britain took possession of it for about 20 years till the Treaty of Paris. Because Spain got involved in the war, when everything was sorted out, Britain had to actually give Spain its possession back of South Florida. A similar interesting thing happens in Louisiana, where Spain has Louisiana after the war, though it had been French, and then France gets Louisiana, though it was Spanish, and literally after and this is a little bit jumping ahead, but after the Louisiana Purchase, the Americans go to New Orleans, they take down the Spanish flag, run up the French flag to demonstrate it's been part of France real quick, take this French flag down immediately, and then run up the United States flag. So yes, that part of the world is very interesting. That part of the United States is really interesting how it changes hands at the time. Move on to question number 7, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. And I rephrased this one a little bit from the card. Who did not participate in the peace negotiations for ending the American Revolutionary War? Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, John Adams, or John Jay? Which of these men did not participate in negotiating the end of the American Revolutionary War? We got Nick with an answer saying Washington, Commander-in-Chief. That's a bold statement. Leading the army. You think he should participate? I don't know. I mean, I do know. I typed all this in before we started today, so I do know what the answer is. Waiting to see if anyone else has a guess. I'm stalling to see what comes in. Catherine. Oh, Catherine agreeing with you. We got some bold answers today. Everyone. The people doubting George Washington. Doubting George Washington? Let's see, Misfit, you got an answer for us? You got an answer? Going once. Going twice. Going 345 times. It's Washington. I tricked you. There, I'm sorry. Colonel, you got your answer in, Misfit, right at the end there. I tricked you. It was George Washington. Of course it was. I'm dropping my cards. Whoopsie daisy. That's okay. George Washington was in America while Franklin, Adams, and Jay were in Paris negotiating the Treaty of Paris. George Washington had really no part in the negotiations except that whole winning at Yorktown thing, which sealed the deal to negotiate a peace treaty. Now, to be fair, George Washington did play a significant part in ending the Revolutionary War. He, however, did not sign the Treaty of Paris. I should give a shout out to Henry Lawrence, whose son John Lawrence has become a lot more famous than his father because of the Broadway play Hamilton. Or Broadway musical Hamilton. I've been called out for calling it a play on several occasions, though my intentions, I assure you, are the best. Henry Lawrence had been captured at sea after negotiating a treaty with Netherlands, held in the Tower of London for a while, and then went to Paris to help negotiate this treaty. He did help negotiate it, though since he was not an official delegate to the commission that created the treaty, he did not get his signature on there. Tissues and teardrops. Also, while he was over there, his son dies, so that's great. Anyway, that was sarcasm, obviously not great. Another question. Another true or false question here. Anyone popping in, type down in there. Let us know you're here. I'll wait for you to hear what your answers are. True or false? T or F? The Treaty of Paris required the colonies to return property to loyalists who did not fight in the war. True or false? The Treaty of Paris required colonies to return property to loyalists who did not fight in the war. While you guys are answering that, I am going to note I don't like how this card calls them colonies, because all these questions are about the Treaty of Paris, and these were most part of the big deal about the Treaty of Paris was Britain recognizing that these weren't colonies anymore. Now they were states. And you would think the person writing these questions would have, been cool about that. Great Britain was being cool about it after a lengthy war and losing a lot of territory, not just these colonies, but the ones in Florida, as we discussed, and certain ones in the Caribbean changed hands as well. So let me know. It's a true or false question. I'm surprised I haven't seen any answers popping in. I did not check to see how far ahead of you guys I am today. It's probably only 3 or 4 seconds. We got Colonel saying, true, they did have to give it back. Okay, I'm sorry, that's not Colonel, that's Nick. Saying true, they did, according to the treaty, have to return property to loyalists. Does anyone else think that's true? Or does anyone else think it's false? I'm going once. I'm going twice. And most of you usually pop in your answers right when I do this anyway. And whammy. It is true, in fact. Now, the truth of this matter is that not only this was true, but okay, there it is, Catherine, coming through right at the end there. I am a few seconds ahead of you guys, so don't feel bad that I have answered it before you did. I'm sure you were typing it in before I said anything. Even though it was required in the treaty to give property back to loyalists who did not fight in the war, that very infrequently actually happened. Once property had been taken, it was generally not returned, with the exception, unfortunately, of certain slaves. Additionally, much of the things Britain was supposed to do, like, abandon the forts on American soil, they also didn't do. And that would eventually, John Jay would go make a not so happy Jay Treaty that people didn't like, trying to get the British to leave. And they left some of the forts, but still didn't leave all of them. And that would be not until the War of 1812, 30 years later, that they actually finally absolved themselves of British in their forts. Let's continue here. Question the 9th. Oh, we're moving on to a what happened here card. And of course my lights make it so you can't actually see the map on my page. But what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia, June 4th, 1781? Now, we don't talk about modern politics on this channel. I know the city of Charlottesville has modern politic connotations. I assure you that has nothing to do with this question. This is about June 4th, 1781. Just, what is that, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 months before the Battle of Yorktown in Virginia. I'll remind you, 1781, the British have they've been coming for quite some time at this point. They've come up from the south. They've come into Virginia. Now, I know that people are going to basically say the Battle of Charlottesville, which is the common answer to this question. But it is a difficult question for me to answer, so I will accept a lot of things. Catherine's answer is basically correct. Didn't Jefferson flee to Monticello? Well, Monticello is kind of in Charlottesville. It's across from Charlottesville. He considered himself essentially a resident of Charlottesville. Nick, you're going to call it the Siege of Charlottesville. I will basically accept those answers. This is the capture of the state government, which is wrong. I didn't know how to put it because the answer they have, you probably can't see, is very lengthy. Basically what happens is the British invaded Virginia, and Jefferson, who was governor of Virginia, led the government out of Richmond. They fled west to Charlottesville, which they thought was farther enough inland where they couldn't be surprised. They were surprised. Fortunately, a gentleman, Jewett. I think it's James Jewett or John Jewett. His last name is Jewett, I believe it's pronounced. Was a soldier who just happened to see that the British were coming, and he rode through the backwoods and Native American trails to get to the government. And he warns Jefferson. First, he goes to Jefferson's house, says, "Get out of here! The British are coming." And then he goes into the town of Charlottesville and gets everyone's attention and helps the Virginians escape. A lot of them escape, except the reason I wrote "capture the government," which again is wrong. I shouldn't have put it like that. 7 officials, 7 of Virginia's lawmakers, their representatives in their assembly, were captured by Banastre Tarleton that day, one of whom was Daniel Boone, who had only just been elected to represent Kentucky, which was then still part of Virginia, the Kentucky County, Virginia. He was sent to represent Kentucky in the government. He just got there and was almost immediately captured. Fortunately for him and the other 6 people who were captured, they were almost immediately paroled. Because what are they going to do with them? The war was going on, and Yorktown was coming. You were probably thinking the siege of Charleston, but like the siege of Charlottesville isn't necessarily wrong, although it isn't a long siege. They walk right into the town. Jack Jouett is the name. Thank you, Catherine. It's Jack Jouett. I believe it's pronounced Jouett. So I think I was close on it. A famous midnight ride, and not a famous midnight ride, an underappreciated midnight ride of Jack Jouett. So Banastre Tarleton, wasn't he really harsh? He got a reputation for being harsh at the time because they were using him as an example of how terrible the Americans could be. How terrible the British can be. Truth be told, he was harsh at certain times, but was he more harsh than other British officials? Yes. Was he more harsh than many American officials? Yes. Were there other people just as harsh as Banastre Tarleton? Absolutely. But he was famous for winning these battles. He did when it comes to the British and their army doing good jobs, he was arguably one of their best officers during the Revolutionary War. I believe he was only a colonel. Not that I shouldn't say only, that's a really high-ranking position, but I think he was only really a colonel making his way, storming through the South. He did just a really great job. Hi, Ashley. Thank you for coming. We have one more card question. Then we'll get to my question. And then we'll get to something else. You know what it is. Our big fun shabammy. Last question is an American Revolution card. You can see it on your screen. It's a 2-parter, kind of. Who created the song Yankee Doodle? And for what reason? Second question. Was it during the Revolution? Okay, so technically a 3-part question. I don't have 3 answers here. I will accept a wide range of answers here. Who created the song Yankee Doodle, and for what reason? I almost started singing a copyrighted song, and I'm not going to do that. Although, honestly, if I sang a copyrighted song and the video got flagged for copyright, I'd actually be pretty excited that I was able to hit all the notes correctly. I can't. I can play the notes correctly on certain instruments, but that instruments are not my voice. Of which my voice is not. I don't know. Weren't there multiple creators? So, kind of. It does stem from a traditional, I believe, Irish tune. Like many songs of the time they would repeat songs, but the lyrics themselves they are referring to. It is kind of a British person. Nick, it was the British Army. It was used to mock Americans, but we were like, we embrace it. So, yeah, okay, so super short answer is Richard Shuckburgh. And no, it wasn't during the Revolution. It was during the Revolution, during the French and Indian War. So, but yes, we did take it. I'm going to read a little bit of the length of this card. So as I was saying, although the melody itself had been around for much longer, the melody had been repurposed. Many of them have. Most of the melodies from traditional songs we know and love today are repurposed. Even, like Battle Hymn of the Republic, the national anthem to a large degree is repurposed. It was common. It was very common at the time. Although it had been sung for much longer in melody, the song is usually attributed to Richard Shuckburgh, a British military surgeon. He is widely believed to have created the first verses during the French and Indian War in 1755. Shuckburgh's song made fun of the Yankees of New Englanders who were fighting alongside the British but were perceived as disorganized, uneducated, inexperienced, and lacking in sophistication. The lyrics were amusing and disparaging. At the time, doodle commonly meant fool. During the Revolutionary War, the British played the song to insult the colonists, but as Nick said, the rebels reclaimed it for their own, repurposed it to be pro-patriot. Huzzah. Yeah, it's actually for a long time I was under the wrong impression that it was created by the British during the Revolutionary War. As the card says, this guy Richard Shuckburgh took an old melody that they would sing in the taverns anyway. He was in America from fighting in the war. One of the many complaints at the beginning of the Revolutionary War, before the Revolutionary War, from the French and Indian War, was that the Americans were treated as less than, despite the fact that they were British subjects. We're British too. You're not better than us. We just happen to live in these rinky-dink, half-made little towns. Though after 150 years, those rinky-dink towns, some of them have become very nice. And when the British did this, and the Americans were like, okay, whatever. And then the French and Indian War leaves, and they go home. And then the British come back for the Revolutionary War and start singing it again. And the Patriots are like, hey, that's our word for us. We're taking that word back. And they did. And that's why being a Yankee Doodle went from being a, forgive my language, but a country fool, I guess that's not bad language, but a country fool to a proud patriot. Which is weird. Also, the words dandy and macaroni kind of had the same meaning at the time, which we don't call people dandy anymore, but I think that's the word we're most used to, where like, if you were to call someone a dandy, which again, no one does anymore, but if you were, it has that foppish, like, fancy pants. If you called someone a fancy pants, would probably be the best way to call both a macaroni and a dandy. Were both the same thing as a fancy pants back then. So a Yankee Doodle is a New England fool, a country bumpkin fool, and a fancy pants. So they fit because he fancies himself a dandy. He stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. So he stuck a feather in his hat and suddenly he thinks he's a fancy pants, a sophisticated guy, and he's not. He's just some Yankee. Their words, not mine. Let's go on to this last question here. So I want to make sure I don't hit the wrong button here. This is another question of mine. This refers back to a video I made a few weeks back, but I think we'll do all right. The question is, who were the delegates to the First Continental Congress from Massachusetts? Now, I ran out of time. I'm going to put the timer up here. You guys let me know who you think there are. There are 4 correct answers. I'm going to put up this timer. I'm going to run the timer through twice, though, to give you guys time to answer because, man, I just ran out of time today. We saw some turkeys in the yard, which is a rare occurrence around here, and we were fawning over the turkeys and how delicious they looked, except I didn't really fully explain to the children how we would go about taking it from walking around the yard to the dinner plate, but I assure you I will. So I just didn't have time to correct my timer because I wanted to make it 2 minutes. So I'll just run it a second time. Thank you guys for coming and hitting like. Thank you guys for answering the question. This is the First Continental Congress. I'm a little surprised we haven't had at least one answer at this point. 2 of the names are fairly easy. Whoa, Robert Treat Paine. That is not the easy one, but that is correct. Ashley with Adams. Can you be more specific, Ashley? Please, I know I usually go with the last name, but this time we're going to need you to be a little more specific. Wink. Again, I am going to fix that countdown. Do it again. There it is. There it is. It is John and Samuel Adams. All right, we got 52 seconds for one more. Now, this name is not so common. I will say it is the brother of a person whose name has come up here around here a lot from Massachusetts. Ashley Whammy. I'm not going to make you give the first name, but great job. Great job. Thomas Cushing. So, the First Continental Congress, war is not broken out yet, but Massachusetts has been locked down. Oh, no, we're all done. We got all 4. Stop, Ashley. Hancock doesn't actually go to the First Continental Congress. Things haven't gotten that crazy in Boston quite yet. He's elected to the second one about 6 months later. But basically, the Massachusetts gets locked down, and everyone's like, oh, okay, what's going on? They're locking down the entire colony of Massachusetts. What's going on? So they call the First Continental Congress. Samuel Adams, who is one of the major reasons that the colony got locked down, shows up with 2 of his lawyers, John Adams and Robert Treat Paine. Adams, at this point, a little bit famous for some of the papers he's written and for defending the British after the Boston Massacre. He defended the soldiers in the Boston Massacre against the prosecution, which was led by Robert Treat Paine. So these two men faced off in the Boston Massacre, and then years later go with Samuel, who's been causing all this trouble, as his lawyers, essentially, and Thomas Cushing, who is one of the most important people in colonial Massachusetts. Now, he doesn't take a big role in the Revolution. He will be important to building the state of Massachusetts, but not really in the Revolution itself. Cushing was best known for the letters affair. There was a letters affair, the Hutchinson letters affair. Royal Governor Hutchinson had some letters commandeered by Benjamin Franklin, and he sent them to Thomas Cushing, who was president of the Colonial Assembly at that point, that had not yet been dissolved. And this is a few years before the First Continental Congress. And Cushing is told by Franklin, hey, show a few people, but don't tell anyone you have them. And then he shows Sam Adams, who's like, we got to show everyone this. And Cushing, respecting Franklin's wishes, writes back and says, hey, they want to show people. And Franklin writes back and says, no, please don't show anyone. And then Sam Adams says, well, what if we just have a committee look at it to decide what to do? And Cushing's like, all right, well, that's the best thing to do. And then somehow those letters get leaked. Sam Adams, there's no way to know who leaked them. So historically, I have absolutely no proof to blame Sam Adams, except what I know about Sam Adams. It just seems right. Truthfully, Sam Adams probably handed them to someone else, who handed them to someone else, who handed them to someone else who leaked them, so that he could be totally absolved of all responsibility. Nick, come through the question. Everyone's sick of Sam Adams. Yeah, Catherine. People were pretty sick. Most people, I think, except for the Sons of Liberty in Boston, who were like, that's our guy. A lot of people were like, especially by the time the First and then Second Continental Congress rolls around, by the time the Second Continental Congress rolls around, that's a few weeks after Lexington and Concord, and they're like, Massachusetts, what are you doing, Sam Adams? Like, what are you doing? Anyway, did Massachusetts legislature thought of sending Joseph Warren to the First Continental Congress, or did he refuse to go? That is a great question. I don't know the answer to it. I have two Joseph Warren experts that I need to talk to, and I will be starting doing some interviews again in the coming weeks. I've been out. I already recorded a fun one with Michael Troy about the generals of the Revolution. But that is a great question, and you know what? I think I'm gonna maybe I'll give Joseph Christian Despina a call, who authored the Founding Martyr book. He hasn't been on in several months, so I'll have him on and we'll talk about that. The thing is, Dr. Joseph Warren was the one sending these people to the First Continental Congress. So I don't think it was I don't know if it was him refusing to go, but things were very extreme at home in Massachusetts. And as the leader of like, we give John Hancock a lot of credit for leader of Massachusetts, and Sam Adams. I've been very convinced over the last few years, based on the Joseph Warren experts I've talked to, that Joseph Warren was the leader of revolutionary Massachusetts. In fact, I've been convinced that when George Washington went to take command of the army outside of Boston, he wasn't going to take it from Artemus Ward, who was the major general in charge of the army. He was supposed to be handed the keys by Dr. Warren to the army. It had Warren not passed away. In fact, Washington had letters of introduction to Joseph Warren from John Adams saying, this is the guy. Like, Warren, this is your guy. So I don't have a lot of information off the top of my head for that particular question, which is a fantastic question. But my understanding would be that no, it's not that he even refused to go. It's that Warren was like, okay, these four guys are going. Can we vote? Everyone agree with me? Okay, great. Everyone agrees with me. See you later, guys. So there it is. Like, even John Hancock becomes president of the Second Continental Congress. I'm under the impression it was Warren who said, Hancock, we need your money and esteem there. We can't just be sending, Cushing doesn't go. Oh, no, Cushing does go to the Second Continental Congress. I forget when Cushing leaves, but I think it's because he doesn't support independence. But again, he is a patriot. Many people at that Second Continental Congress don't support independence, leave, and then kind of hang out quietly until the war is over, when they become, most of them, important again in their colonies. Some of them become loyalists, but most of them don't. And whammy pajamas. We are at 45 minutes, so it looks like we might run over today. Why don't we hop on over here? Anyone just popping in, let us know you're here. Well, that's me. That's not where we're supposed to go. We're supposed to go over here, where we played this game earlier. And we are going to do, I'm glad a few people have showed up, because we are about to do this fun game. We are about to discuss the American founders. We are going to try and name, and I think we did it last week. We've done it most weeks at this point. Did we get it right last week? I can't even remember. We've done it so many times. But this is probably going to start becoming a once a month thing after this, because we have done it correctly enough times where we don't need to continue doing it every single week. But we're doing it this week, and we are going to try and name 243 American founders, specifically people who participated in the legislative branch of the American founding. As you see in front of you, we want to name all of the delegates to the First Continental Congress, signers of the Declaration, signers of the Articles of Confederation, delegates to the Constitutional Convention, including the guys who didn't sign, and members of the First Congress, aka the First Senate or House of Representatives. It is 20 minutes long, so we will be running a few minutes long, and we will be naming 243 people, as you see beside me. So, here I am, ready to go. I am going to sip this coffee, even though it's after 9 o'clock. Probably going to have a heart attack by the time I turn 40, doing things like that. But what do? It's all in the name of good fun. What's life if you're not having some fun? I think we did too. But let's see if we can do it in under 10 minutes. Looks like 4 of us really playing. Misfit hasn't been around the whole time. Hopefully she pops back. We've done it a bunch of times. I think we did it under 10 minutes one time. I think we can do it in under 10 minutes, but that means I'm going to type every name you say. So if you guys say repeat names, that's going to slow us down. Wink, wink. I'm going to take a sip of this. As I do, one name at a time, guys. Don't kill me over here. Why don't we start with the big 6? As soon as I see a name come in, I'm going to hit play. And go. Pounding it. Almost choked. All right. Excuse me. Almost choked. Actually, come through with Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton. And that's it. And we're done. Okay, guys. We're rolling. Washington. Adams. Franklin. Jefferson. Morris. Good. Glad we didn't forget that. Anyone else? Madison. Yes. Oh, we just got Franklin. J. Good. Cushing. Absolutely. Henry. Payne. Yeah. Let's not forget the guys we just did. That's always a mistake when we answer the questions earlier and then forget to do the same ones. Bourne. Reed. Livermore. Dean. Silas Dean. A favorite of mine. Almost named my kid Silas, except then I realized it wasn't pronounced Silas, because I'd only ever read it. And once I realized I was pronouncing it wrong for so long, didn't like it anymore. Also, Justin Timberlake named his kid that, and I thought it might become wildly popular out of nowhere. Van Dyke, Stanton, DeHart, and Hart. Actually, named one of my children Morris, and we just found out there's another Morris not far from here, though a different age and at a different school district. But still, interesting that another kid has that name. Dalton. Harrison. My son's good friend's name is Harrison, though it's after George Harrison and not the political Harrison family. Wingate. We already do Wingate? Wow, okay. Walton. Collins. Bland. Not Blend, Bland. I'll give it to you. Langdon. Coles. Ellery. Just did Morris. Gave that speech. Gilman. Page. Martin. With. Not White. Paca, good one. Oh, Langworthy. Don't want to miss that one. Ward. Paca. Okay, Ward. Langworthy. Did that one go through? Oh, okay, weird. My computer like skipped. Wincoop. Parker. Ellsworth. Wadsworth. Whoa. Ellsworth. Uh-oh. Wentworth. I've learned I need a new computer. Wentworth. There it is. Wadsworth. They're getting through the worths. Muhlenberg. Bloodworth. Timothy Bloodworth. Johnson. Johnston. Hopkins. Excuse me, King. Actually, we got Hopkins. I know you know the other one. Let's see. Drayton. Dayton. Matthews. Leonard. What is going on here? Leonard. Oh, I guess that one counted. Griffin, Grout, Jackson, Ames, Fisher Ames, great name. Whipple, Sinclair, Jennifer with an E at the beginning there. That's okay. Thornton. I see you fix it. That's okay. Sullivan, Gunn, Walcott, Winnets, With. Oh, we did with. That's right. Gunn. I think just did it. Okay. Hopkinson slash Pierce, Walker, Hawkins, Hathorn, Scotts, Houston, Harvey, Davy, Ross, Houston. Oh, I guess we did Houston. Did we do it? I guess so. Bartlett, Reed, Houston. Okay. Balsam. What? Balsam. Names we did. Wilton. No, we did not do. Few. Alsip. Mercer. Rush. Gale. Benson. Gwinnett. Did we do Gwinnett? Must have. Witherspoon. Roberto. Ancestor of Reese Witherspoon. I learned when I was researching him. Ellery. Oh, we did Ellery. Hall. Elmer's Glue. Smith. Gary. Sedgwick. Talked about him yesterday in the live feed. Pendleton. Cadwallader. Partridge. Braxton. Carter Braxton. Relative to the Carter family. Randolph. Dickinson. Ooh, don't want to forget Johnny D. Pendleton, we just did. Rutledge. Randolph, we just did. Rhodes. Oh, ADS. Nick, you spelled it like Rhodes in Red Dead Redemption 2. It is the same pronunciation, but a different game. Braxton, we just did. Chase. Ingersoll. Biddle. Sylvester. Broom. Butler. Steele. Steele Butler. That would be a funny name. Steele, did that work? Okay, it did. Madison, I think we got Madison off the bat. That's why we do the big six, so we don't forget the real biggest important, the founding fathers, as people generally see them. Hartley, I just did that, right? Yeah. Heister, not Devin Hester. Sherman. Oh, that's Shower. Okay, never mind. I see it coming up. Good job, Nick. Livermore. Oh, we did Livermore right at the beginning. Monroe, did we do? Oh, don't forget Johnny Jackson. We did. Galloway, Izzard, Humphreys, with an R, Freeze, Sherman, Goodhue, White, Page, Page, Carroll, Brown, Grayson, Black is not one of the colors. Clymer, we just did Grayson. I think it's just Brown and White, I think are the only two names. Grayson. Bassett's, Richard, Floyd, Mayweather. Oh, Thatcher, almost missed that one. Okay, Mitchell, I don't think so. Spate, Richard Dobbs Spate. Well, we're getting there. We got 3 minutes. Got a whole lot more names, though. Don't know if we're going to make that 10-minute mark. It's okay if we don't. As long as we get all of them. Trumbull, Tucker, Sinnickson. Really fun name. Sinnickson reminds me of Sinister. I'm sure he was a nice guy, but that's what it reminds me of. Hancock. Ooh, don't want to miss that guy. Yates. Harrison, we did earlier. It's my son's friend's name. I'll scroll down a little bit. We're looking for some, declaration signer from Virginia and Pennsylvania. Baldwin, Huntington, Lansing. Jay, did we do Jay? We did Jay. Good. Hughes, Lewis, Dewar, Lee. Oh, okay, we got the Lees. Okay, because that's a big one. Burke, Aidenus, Nelson, Middleton, McKean. Okay. Oh, is there another M from Pennsylvania? Patterson. Maybe has to do with The Office television show. Henry, I think we got. Yep. Bannister. Schuyler, Clark, King, did we do? Yeah, I think we did. Gale, got Blair, Tony Blair, Giles, Pinkney is at least one. Izzard, I think we did. Mifflin, that's the one I was referencing, Ashley. Well played. Griffin, Cyrus. Oh, must have gotten that one. Mason is a good one. Klingon, Stockton. John Stockton of the Jazz. Gilman, that's a 90s basketball reference for any of you who care about that kind of thing. Gorham, Nathaniel Gorham, one of the most important members of the Constitutional Convention, so overlooked. Wadsworth, I think we actually did her run through the worths earlier. McClurg, but that's definitely a correct answer. Wadsworth Family Connecticut was really important, especially for paying for the war. Bland, I think we got. Morton, we did not get. Steele, I think we got. Colonel, hey, welcome back. Oh, you've been back a while. I guess I didn't realize that. Blount, Cynicston, we just did. Sherman, Scudder, the doctor who died in battle. Thompson, there he is. Crane, Folsom, we got, yeah. Lynch, I don't believe we did. Sullivan, I think we did do. Doo-doo. Gadsden. Hayward. Livingston. Oh, don't want to miss the Livingston. Dickinson, we definitely did. Pinkney, we definitely did. Gunn, we got. Penn. Few. Sevier. Strong. Boudinot. Stone. Dana. Got. Lawrence. Jackson, I think we got. Mackley. Lynch. Oh, everyone wants the Lynches. Galloway. Yeah, I guess we got Galloway. Middleton. Sumter. Paca. Oh, Reed and Reed. Nice. Oh, we got one of the Reeds. Okay, fair enough. Crane, I think we got. Yeah. I only skip one if I think we've done it. If I know for a fact I've like one of the reasons I tell stories is to keep you entertained, but also to remind myself. So therefore, I'm like 100% sure when we've done one. Kinsey, Patterson. Oh, must have done Patterson. Hanson, Conti, good. Fitzsimmons, the Catholic who signed the Constitution. Starts with an F though. Fitzsimmons, Sini. We missed the 10-minute mark, but that's all right. What are you gonna do? There's only 4 of us playing. Ellsworth. We got all the worths. That's right. Ashley did her weekly worth run through everyone with the word worth in their name. I think there's 4 of them. Telfair, Rodney. What's going on here? Rodney. Okay. Ross. Got Baldwin. I'm like 100% sure we did. Yeah. Blair, we tried. Dyer. Trumbull. We definitely remember doing Trumbull. That's all right. Robert Joe, I don't remember doing, but we did. A lot of names. Let's see. We did Born in Ingersoll. Walton, I don't know. Yep. Collins, I think we did. Stone, I don't remember, but I guess so. Borum, we did not do from Brooklyn. White, we did because we talked about the colors. Brown, we did. Those are the 2 colors that worked. Alpaca, Taylor. Thornton, absolutely, which we must have done because it's so right. Huntington, I remember doing. Sturgis, like the motorcycle rally, we did not do. Herring from New York also. Williamson. Heister, I think we did. Wisner, there's the other New York guy. Thank you, Ashley, for bringing that up. We have 1 congressman from Virginia. Wincoop, I think we did. Brearley we did not do because there's an E in the name. 1 congressman from Virginia. Pennsylvania. We got Pennsylvania. Massachusetts. So this guy should not technically be on the list. He doesn't fit the description, but he was so very important to the Sons of Liberty in Boston leading up in the 1760s. Okay. Has a sister who's very famous for being an author. Partridge, I think we did. Sturgis we did. Davy we did, I think. Oh, I'm here. Davy. Hooper did not do. Moore did not do. Lewis, I think we did. Otis, there it is. Oh, everyone got it. I'm glad you guys all know. James Otis is an extremely important person who just sadly lost his faculties. Kind of loses his mind after he gets hit in the head. Caswell, and then doesn't. Has a very small participation in the war. Actually dies. Gets struck by lightning, which is my greatest fear. Especially when I'm up here on my computer if there are storms outside. Got the Biddles. Harvey, I think we did. Holton. Muhlenberg, we did. I remember struggling through that name. I always do. Dwayne. Lovell, I think we just did. Carroll. Okay, we must have done. Huger. Dwayne, just did. You guys on the same page. Love it. Let's see, Massachusetts. We got Massachusetts. New York. We need a First Continental Congress delegate from New York. Oh, I just went through this recently. And a congressman from New York. Just did this recently. Although I'm even having trouble remembering who is not here. Oh, low. Okay, you got it. There it is. Thank you, Catherine. I was going to say, if you're not high, you're sober. This is a family show. Well, no, technically it says it's not for children, but that's because I don't want to mess with YouTube's algorithm. Either way, you guys don't need to know about that. Marker. Giles. It's 9 o'clock on the on the East Coast, so kids are going to, I literally hear them going to sleep next door. Rhodes, we did, because Nick had spelled it the Rodney. Nick had spelled it the Red Dead Redemption way. Ward, we got Gadsden. I think we got Sumter. Got Bedford. Bedford. Man, I didn't even remember that name. How long have I been doing this to like not remember names? To be like surprised. Bedford, really? Okay, so we need from New York one congressman, an inaugural congressman. Article signer from South Carolina. Yates, I think we got. Oh, no, we got Schuyler. Never mind, that hint doesn't work. We did finish New Jersey. We need one article signer from South Carolina. We're pretty close, guys. Maryland. We have a bunch of people missing from Maryland. Marchant. I think we did. Yep. Connecticut. We are missing an article signer from Connecticut. Oh, there it is. That's it, Nick. Let's see if you spelled it right. Rensselaer. You did it. You did it. Oh, God, everyone's doing it. Okay. We need a congressman from Delaware. We need an article signer from North Carolina and a congressman from North Carolina. There's Goldsboro. I don't remember that name coming up. We got Georgia. We got New Hampshire. We got Rhode Island. Vining. That's right. There it is. Vining. Good one. Okay, we got Delaware. Great job. Matthews, I think we did get. DeHart, I think we did get. Vining, we just did. We need a congressman from North Carolina and an article signer from North Carolina. Ooh, not Josh Hartnett. Harnett. Yes, Cornelius Harnett. It was funny. I had looked him up and did a lot of research on him a while back and never actually wrote about Tillman. That's got to be one of them. Nice. Hosmer. Do we get Hosmer? Hosmer. Titus Hosmer. Oh, I had just brought him up before. Well done, Ashley. Hudson. Oh. Okay, it keeps clicking off today. Hudson. Oh, nice. Because we tried that one before and it didn't work. I'm glad you brought it back up. Holton. Nope. Whipple. I think we definitely did. Davy, we did. Wilson Nelson. Let's see. We only need 2 more people. We need a Constitutional Convention delegate from Maryland. Okay. I was just about to say, we did Henry. I remember when we did Henry before, we didn't do McHenry. So, who is the last missing person here? Oh, we got a tissue box over there. I don't know if you guys can hear a small boy who does not want to go to sleep. Okay, gonna have trouble giving you hints. Oh, North Carolina. For a congressman from North Carolina. Good luck with that, guys. We got 2 minutes. Cini? Nope. I'm trying to think. Because North Carolina joined Congress late because they did not like the Constitution at all. As many people didn't. Ash! Oh, man. Catherine, so excited. I love how you did that, Catherine. I love how you did that. Oh, you guys all coming through at the same time. You probably are typing it about the same time because, YouTube, our internet connections are all different. But I just love how pumped Catherine was. Sorry, no, Ashley. Oh, Ashley, it's literally your name. It's okay because you got so many right. You all got so many right. We didn't hit the 10-minute mark, but I'm certainly. I mean, less than 18 minutes for 4 people to name 243 people. That's fascinating. So we got to think of a way to start using these names as more of a. I don't know. Maybe I wonder if I can actually create. Yeah, now we'll definitely remember it. I wonder if I could probably go in and actually create some of these because they're just done by people. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do one of these for each state. Oh, I'll think of something. I'll see if I can create them. See how hard it is, how time consuming it is. I'll pop myself back up here. We'll close off with hey. Thank you for watching. I'm going to remind you guys that for those of you who watch the live videos, YouTube might not tell you when I put out the regular videos that I do literally every day. I have a brief video that coincides with an article I publish on my website every morning. They are usually under 5 minutes. Sometimes they get to be 10, depending on how exciting the person is. But they're out every single morning. So if YouTube doesn't tell you about those, do me a favor, take some time and watch 2 or 3 of them, and then YouTube will give you one every single morning. And all of these names we're talking about, you can learn about them individually. Colonel, storm is coming in. Oh boy, well yeah, we've had some storms here too. But good luck, Peacefield. Yeah, take cover. I don't know how to say that. Yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. Anyone just popping in, you missed an hour of trivia. It was a lot of fun. Hit like and subscribe because we do it every Friday. So definitely subscribe and hit like so that YouTube will remind you that we're doing it. Thank you guys so much for coming. It was a romping good time. I am going to go bid you adieu and Peacefield, and I will be back again. I'm going to have a founder tomorrow morning is the inventor of David Bushnell, the inventor of the submarine and underwater explosives. So make sure you watch some of the other videos. It's always fun. Thank you guys so much. And I will be back with another founder for you tomorrow.